And the reason this is so important is because you'll see a lot of people who have nice things, and it doesn't necessarily mean they understand finances.
And then everyone else sees the Mercedes and goes, oh, it must be nice. No, you're not seeing the 5 years previous of them penny pinching. And I think that's what's really critical about money.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode, a live repurposation, is that a word, of our Meetup Monday. Is your fear of judgment holding you back? Today, for episode number 609, what you never learned in school about money. So I came in the studio hot today.
Oh, yeah?
Talking to Alan, so we're both looking for new places.
Yeah.
We're both taking a lot of big steps in life, and I feel like, obviously, we are trying to figure out the financial side of that. Mm-hmm. And Alan is my go-to when it comes to finances because he knows way more about numbers and money and exponentials and all that happy jazz.
Appreciate you.
Of course. And we were talking today about some things that are kind of common sense, but very similar to what we talked about last week. Sometimes common sense isn't common practice.
For sure.
So we figured we'd talk a little bit about money because we talk about life, love, health, and wealth.
I think the first thing to understand about money, and by far the most important, is that we hear a lot of quotes and motivational things of like, money doesn't buy happiness. It does not buy happiness, but it does buy choices. And I think we got to start there of like, and here's the other thing that I'll just say as well. Have you decided in advance to master money? And if the answer is no, then you really should check in with that, because all of us understand the value of being able to make our own choices, right? So how's the audio quality on your end? Is it good?
Yeah, everything's good on my end. Change the headphones?
I think I got to change the headphones a little bit. Okay, much better. So I want you to imagine 10, 20, 30 years from now, you know, your kids get into one of the best schools in the world, but they can't go because you can't afford it. Or you want to help your parents out and have them live in a guest house, but they can't. They have to live in a nursing home because you can't afford it, right? So one of the things that we don't understand and we need to understand about money is there is no exception to what I'm about to say, which is you either pay now and play later, or you play now and pay later. And so credit card companies allow us to play now and pay later. But I promise you the credit card companies are winning in that deal. And the reason why is because of obviously interest over time. And I think it's a lack of understanding of the compound effect. So on this episode, you know that Kevin and I are heart-driven, but we're no BS. We want to help you actually improve your life. And there's 3 master skills to money. They're very simple, but like Kevin said, common sense is not common practice. The first one is learning how to make more money. Okay? If you're an employee or a team member, you have to figure out how to become more valuable to the organization so that you can get a raise. Okay? If you're an entrepreneur, then you have to figure out how to sell more products or more services.
Business Made Simple. If you're an employee of a company, Business Made Simple is an unreasonably valuable book.
So good.
Donald Miller, very, very valuable. Shout out to Nick Cavuto for suggesting that to us.
That is a valuable book for anyone.
Yeah.
There's no one on earth who wouldn't benefit from understanding that. So number 1 is make more money. Learn how to make more money. Learn how to become more valuable, personal development, all that. Number 2, spend less money. This one's hard for people. Saving money is not fun. Spending money is a lot of fun, right? You can have 1 vacation this year or 10 vacations 10 years from now. Most people would choose 1 vacation this year. And again, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There are very few people who are actually good with money, and I think it goes against human nature, and I want to say that. Our human condition prefers now over later. It prefers survival now over abundance later. And so we kind of have to override that, especially in prosperity, because we're most likely, statistically speaking, at least in this country, you're statistically going to live to 72. So you've got to plan for living to 72. Whereas from an evolutionary standpoint, you didn't have to plan for living to 72 because you didn't. You know what I mean? We're 32, both of us. And, 200,000 years ago when our brain was the same as it is now in terms of an evolutionary standpoint, it always prefers now over later. Food now because there might be a famine. Hunt now because there might be scarcity later. versus this is an opposite world now. Now human nature actually kind of goes against us a lot. So again, first one, learn how to make more money. Second one, learn how to save and invest more money. Number 3 is optimally invest, meaning, okay, if you can make more money, let's say you make $5,000 a month. Let's say you spend less money. You make $5,000, you're only spending $2,000. That means you're netting $3,000. What do you do with that extra $3,000? What most people do, unfortunately, is they put it in a savings account. And a savings account doesn't actually make more money. If Kevin and I invest that $3,000 into our business and into ourselves, now we go make more money. That $5,000 becomes $10,000, becomes $20,000, becomes $30,000 or $40,000, then $80,000, then $160,000, then $320,000, and I can keep going. $640,000, $1,228,000, and then it's $1.2 million. So, do you think that way? If you're out there listening right now, do you think in exponentials or do you think linearly? Because the credit card companies think in exponentials. That I can promise you.
And they're winning.
They're winning.
Like we went through the interest rates of my credit cards today, and it's like, anywhere from 13 to 23%. Like 23% is an ungodly. For reference, okay, when I was 20, how old was I? Maybe 21.
Right.
I bought my first real car. Like I had a car earlier, but it was a hunk of junk and it was just a piece of crap. Mm-hmm. And I paid cash. I went and bought and financed a car. I didn't have a cosigner and I didn't have any credit. My interest rate was 21%. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
It was a $7,000 car. I don't know what I ended up paying. I think I paid $215 a month for 3 years. So whatever that is.
You can crunch it.
What's 215 times 36?
I got you.
It's more than 7,000.
Yeah. So that's actually not that bad. 215 times 36, 7,740.
That might be the wrong number then.
Yeah.
It must have been something else. I don't know.
Do you want to know what? So it was 215. What was the car? Was 7,000?
It was 7,000.
And you paid what percent interest?
21.
So that means at minimum you paid at least $2 extra grand.
Yeah.
At least.
Which is
for a $7,000 car, you paid $9. Basically.
Yeah.
And that's not including the compound effect of it. Because it depends on how often the interest does it, right? So credit cards are daily interest. Sometimes it's picture this. Imagine here's a good analogy. We all went through a growth spurt at some point when we hit puberty.
We're both still waiting on it.
Right. I'm waiting for puberty. Kevin's waiting for his growth spurt. No, but seriously, so think about it this way. Think about when you had your growth spurt, when you first hit puberty. You grew a ton in a very short amount of time. It's almost like that's what credit card companies are doing with interest. I don't know if that's a really good analogy, but at the end of the day, these three fundamentals, it's just like fitness. If you eat more than you burn, you will end up gaining weight. If you burn more than you eat, you will end up losing weight. Finance is the same way, and the problem is that from an evolutionary perspective, we're supposed to eat as much as we can, because a famine might come, or we might, have to hunt. Like our minds and our bodies are wired for survival. So we're supposed to eat a ton. We're wired to eat as much as possible. We're wired to spend as much money as possible and to use our resources. We're not wired to think long term, Kev. We're not.
Oh, trust me. The example I wanted to use, and the reason this is so important is because you'll see a lot of people who have nice things, and it doesn't necessarily mean they understand finances.
Right.
And this is something that not a lot of people talk about. Again, is this a sexy episode we're doing? No, but it's super, super valuable. Mm-hmm. Back when I was 26 and I made six figures, it wasn't because I was good with money.
Nope.
At the end of the year, where I made $100,000, I think I only ended up saving 10.
Yeah.
Imagine that. I had checks on checks, and sometimes I didn't even cash my checks because I didn't need to. I just waited. I had a lot of money coming in. I found a way to spend all that money.
Oh, yeah.
The whole, okay, what did I do really well? I made more money really well. Mm-hmm. I went from probably making $60,000 the year before to $100,000. Awesome.
Yeah. Very good at the first step. Make more money.
Very
excellent.
Good. Spend less than you earn. I didn't really do a great job at that.
Right.
This was back when I was buying rounds of shots for the entire bar.
Yep.
I was spending $1,400 a month on an apartment by myself.
Right.
All of those things. So that was expensive.
Yep.
And then investing, I wasn't investing the difference at all.
Didn't invest. Yeah.
I didn't invest. I was in credit card debt back then.
Yeah.
Right? I think I was $7,000, $8,000 in credit card debt at the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, just like you see somebody who's in shape and you assume they know. Like, yeah, a lot of people know, but not everybody knows at the depths of like, well, this is a macronutrient, this is a micronutrient, this is, a lot of people are like, they have results that they don't necessarily have the knowledge to back up. And I think that's important.
Sometimes, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's important.
And the other thing that you can try to understand as well, this is a good analogy. Imagine you see someone who's in unbelievable shape.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest issues for our listeners that we've seen is not everybody has people in their corner trying to lift them to the next level. And even the people who are trying to help don't always know how.
That's why Kevin and I created Next Level Group Coaching. It's a 3-month program on teams of 10 with all people committed to achieving their goals. Click the link in the show notes for more information.
And we only take 10 people at a time, so make sure you get in quick.
Who's someone who's just in great shape naturally? They don't really have to work that hard at it. Is there someone you know?
Because it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Me.
Okay.
I think I know myself. Yeah.
Okay. So if you were to eat like Kevin, genuinely, I'll say this. Okay. How many calories a day do you eat typically?
I should be eating 2,500 right now, but I'm probably like 27, 28.
Okay. If one of our listeners were to eat 2,800 calories a day and were to kind of work out but not really that hard, what would happen to them?
They'd gain weight, for sure.
How much?
I don't know. Probably like, it depends on the person, but half a pound, quarter pound a week.
Yeah. And the compound effect of that, in 1 year, you gain 52 pounds. So it's really, you got to be really, really careful. And if you were to see Kevin and the way he eats and see him in shape, you'd think, oh, okay, I can eat like that too. No. When you see, and this is one of the problems, I have a mentor of mine who's very, very wealthy, and he bought an $85,000 Mercedes. I've talked about this before. If you saw him buy the Mercedes and then you decided, oh, I want to buy a Mercedes, see, that's no money to him now. But the only reason he can buy that Mercedes is because he penny pinched for the first 3 decades that you missed. And I know this person, he literally was very squeaky. Squeaky is like a term I use for like they don't spend money needlessly. I'm very squeaky. And that's why I drive a $4,500 car that I paid for in cash. I could afford a Lexus, or I could afford a Tesla. I could. That would be unintelligent because that's less in money I can invest in my own personal development. That's less money I can invest in this business. And it would be a lot harder to work for ourselves if I have huge expenses. Gary Vee talks about this all the time, and this is the truth of the matter. I want you to imagine 2 people. One person does what is fun and easy and makes some money but not that much, never saves money, and never invests money. In 30 years from now, and I love the listeners, and I'm going to tell you the truth, that person will have very little choices. They will have very little money and very little choices, okay? And for the fitness analogy, that person is eating a ton of calories, not really tracking any calories, not really working out, and doesn't really have a personal trainer and doesn't really know much about fitness. Okay? Predict it. 10, 20, 30 years, are they going to be in shape or not? They're not going to be in shape. Okay? It is what it is. Now, person 2. Person 2 is investing in their own personal development to become more valuable, to make more money. They're getting better at sales, prospecting, marketing, branding, business. Even if they're an employee or a team member, they're learning how to make more money. They're reading finance books. They're reading books like Business Made Simple, or Sell or Be Sold, or Brian Tracy's, what is it? The Art of Selling?
Psychology of Selling, I believe?
Psychology of Selling. Okay. So they're making more money, and they're increasing their income. Second one, they're just penny pinching. They bargain shop, and they try really hard not to spend money on almost anything. They just want to make sure that they're making way more money than they spend. And they're very focused on saving money and making sure that their expenses are very low. They're keeping their expenses super low. They don't buy new cars. They make sure they don't buy things that are needless things, okay? And then the third one, they're like, you know what, Apple in 10 years from now, it's going to be really valuable. I know it. I'm going to buy some Apple stock. Oh, okay. You know what else, though? Amazon. Amazon's been doing really well. I'm going to buy some Amazon stock. Tesla. I know it's $500 a share, but I'm going to buy some Tesla stock. See, Amazon, Apple, and Tesla in 5 years are going to be more valuable than they are right now. So that person literally learns how to make more money and invest in themselves so they can make better decisions and make even more money. They learn how to keep their expenses low so they have a lot of money that they get to invest. And then when Apple, Amazon, and Tesla win, now they buy a Mercedes. And then everyone else sees the Mercedes and goes, oh, it must be nice. No, you're not seeing the 5 years previous of them penny pinching. And I think that's what's really critical about money. Money is a pay now, play later motto. You have to pay the price of saving now. Saving versus spending, which one's more fun?
Spending.
Right. Okay, investing versus spending, which one's more fun?
Spending.
Okay, investing versus spending, which one's harder, more challenging, and
Investing.
Yeah. And which one's better for you in the long run?
Investing.
Okay, right. And that's what everything is. There's a reason why the diet industry is bigger than it's ever been, but yet we're bigger than we've ever been, because what is fun and easy is almost never what's best for you in the long run. And Kevin and I want to teach you the truth. So, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say the example. So today we were talking about credit card companies because we were like, this is interesting. This is why they make so much money.
Yeah.
A credit card company is not play now, pay later. It's almost play now, pay forever.
Right.
Because
if you're not careful.
There's a reason. If you go on your credit card statement, I think they legally had to do this at some point. I don't know the law behind it.
Right.
They have to show you how long it would take you to pay this off with a minimum payment. It's like 60 years.
Right.
It literally will take you forever to pay this off if you only pay the minimum payment.
Yep.
And I never knew that.
It's called financial slavery.
It's just mind-blowing.
Terrible. Yeah.
It's mind-blowing. So, as we mentioned in the beginning, and I think we mentioned in one of last week's episodes, common sense is not always common practice. Maybe you knew these things. If you knew them, are you practicing them? Maybe you didn't know these things, like I didn't early in my journey, right? Are you now going to do something different? Your awareness is now higher. Now you have to make the responsibility that now you need to take the responsibility and say, look, I'm going to commit to making a change. Mm-hmm. It's uber important.
Can I share one more thing real quick?
And then we got to go.
Kev, I have had a credit card since I was 15 years old. Okay? I swear to you, I have never once not paid off the full amount every month. Not once. I'm 32 years old. I've had a credit card for 17 years, and I've never not paid the full amount at the end of the month.
They must hate you.
They make no money on me. I make money on them because I get cash back.
Right.
See, but they're betting on you not being like me.
Yeah.
And that's how they win. Because even the people like me who are making 5% cash back, I'm literally better off using my credit card.
Yeah.
Right? But statistically, most people don't do that.
Well, they wouldn't be in business.
They wouldn't be in business. If everybody was like me, every credit card business would be out of business.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for our listeners to get on that side of the ledger.
Get on that side of the ledger.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We're financial.
Yeah, this is what happens.
Yeah.
Again, not the sexiest episode we've ever done, but what it takes to get to the next level is often like it's the stuff that you don't want to. I don't want to say you don't want to learn about, but you've never had the reason to learn because you're doing what you're doing. Right? What we do normally becomes normal, and then we don't change it.
Right.
And that's something that we want to do. Like, we're always having our awareness raised, and then we have to take new action because of that. It is our goal to do that for you also.
100%.
Boom.
So Kevin and I wanted to talk to you briefly about, we are literally 4 days out from launching Group 3.
So technically, if you're listening to this, it's Wednesday. So we're actually going to be doing it on Friday.
So 2 days out.
2 days out.
2 days out. So May 7th, we're finished. Group coaching is closed. So there's 4 spots left, I think 3 or 4, maybe even more than that. nextleveluniverse.com. Click the group coaching tab. Kevin and I just recreated a brand new video on there. All the information that you need is on there, but basically here's what it is. If you want to learn the fundamental skills of how to be successful, this is the way, and it's very cheap for what you're going to get in terms of value. It's 90 days, which is 3 months. 3 months. A team of 10 people who are all like-minded, who are going to support you all along the way, and it's literally $97 a month. It's the amount of value you're going to get for how cheap of a price this is. Now, remember, this is an episode about money. You want to invest money in yourself so that you can make more money. It's like the most misunderstood concept in the world. I bought a course from Darren Hardy. I'm telling you, that thing is paying dividends. I spent $2,000 on this course 3.5 years ago. I have made so much money because I did that. And it's not even close to how much we're going to make eventually because of that course. And this course, this is obviously group coaching. It's way cheaper, right? We have a lot, and we're not always going to keep it at this price, guys. Like, this is low price for very high value, and I just want to make sure that everyone knows that.
Yeah, and I think, again, if you've never been in a group coaching setting, if you've never had a coach before, this is a great first step. A lot of the people in groups 1 and 2 have never been coached.
Right.
So this is a great opportunity for you to get around other people who are doing the same thing. We'll pair you up with somebody. You'll be able to track all your habits. Like, at the end of the day, this is going to be a game changer for everybody in it.
For life.
It already is for the people in group 1 and 2. Is that it?
What do we got next?
Up next for the next episode we have?
Yeah.
The next episode we have is overcoming uncertainty. So I've been doing a lot of calls with listeners lately, and I'm realizing very quickly that uncertainty is the biggest bottleneck when it comes to taking action. So we're going to do a little episode on that, and that'll be on Friday. And then, as always, we don't have fans, we have family, and we will talk to you on Friday.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.